Is there a Polygon Digital Asset Treasury fund? Is Sentient a distraction for you for Polygon? So it's like 6 months ago, I think you hit like an all-time low.
So this is basically a market's mispricing or pricing around L1. The miscalculation in that is, I know that a lot of token holders are not very happy because of the price, not being great and all that. Now, all I want to say and all I can say is that,
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very, very special guest with me, Sandeep Nailwal, the founder and CEO of Polygon Foundation. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really good. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have you. Thanks for hosting me here in the, was it Polygon Hub here in Dubai? I understand I tried to catch you at Token, but it seems that you were too busy.
Yeah, somehow. I'm really sorry. Sorry we couldn't make it.
Yeah, that's all good. So obviously you must have been quite busy. You must have been securing partnerships, doing deals. You have any alpha you can spill with us that you've been working on for Polygon or Sentient at Token?
Yeah, I mean, Polygon is making a lot of big strides in the stablecoin and payments space. And Polygon, as its history, has been very focused on real utility-based applications, right? We are not that great in meme coin and speculative kind of activities on Polygon, but you've seen in the past from big brands to, Polymarket yesterday raised $2 billion from New York Stock Exchange, right? So that's all built on Polygon, right? Yep. Our DNA has been the real utility, real world-based utility stuff. And with stablecoin and payments really hitting the stride globally, now we believe that it's our time because this is what we do. This is what we are good at. Previously, crypto was like anything that had speculation was very much acceptable in crypto. And anything that doesn't have speculation is not cool. Narrative goes away. People don't talk about it, all that. So that was never our forte really. Now we are in a domain, we are in a place, crypto has a PMF where the real world utility is going to be created. Real world actual use cases are being built on blockchain, which is payments, stable coins, a lot of fintech finance, and we really feel at home here. And I think that's the most important thing. And in Token, you asked the question like you can imagine like the who's who of the fintech world, banks, so many high level meetings we had there, and I'm beyond excited about Polygon. That is like Polygon POS, and then you have Ag Layer, where we provide dedicated block space. Polygon POS is shared block space. Ag Layer is dedicated block space for different use case. And we are seeing huge amount of traction across the board on all of these fronts. And you will keep seeing we rolling out bigger and bigger and bigger stuff in the coming days.
Yeah, so obviously I've done my research for this interview. You guys have been crushing it with institutional partnerships. I think it was 62% of tokenized global bonds were on Polygon, which is obviously the majority, which is incredible. So congratulations, good job. But like how and why were they choosing Polygon over, I guess more trendy chains right now, such as Solana, Avalanche, etc.?
As I said, that we are very good at when it comes to utility stuff. Like when we speak to the teams, they know that we understand their pain points. We really understand their business. And we are not like that crypto crazy degen team. We are more like they feel more at home. I think that's the main thing. And technology wise also, Polygon POS has been there for last 7-8 years. It has stood the test of time. It has stood in very heavy workload scenarios. The chain has always been up 99.999% uptime and very secure. Never a single dollar has been hacked. And so that's what enterprises enjoy, and that's why enterprises look for, not enjoy, but look for in the partners they are working for. They don't want to have like risky scenarios on that. So that's why that is also primarily one of the reasons. And that compound effect keeps on growing because we are with so many of these enterprises from back in the day, from Meta, Instagram launching their NFTs to your Starbucks having their Starbucks points to Etihad and Emirates and whatever, everything, Coca-Cola, every brand was doing something or the other. India, Reddit on Polygon, right? So Reddit, for example, is another thing. So many of these enterprises, proven successful cases have existed on Polygon, which means that the trust to do more stuff on this, especially from financial institutions and banks, is even bigger.
Okay, so sticking with institutions, a massive trend we've seen over the last 6 months or so have been these like DATs, these digital asset treasury companies, right? Obviously, it started with MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy. That's a good one actually. I should create a meme point. So of course we've seen a Sui one spin up, a Ton spin one. I've seen Solana's one. Is there a Polygon digital asset treasury fund in the pipeline?
So definitely every big project in the space is doing that.
Yes.
And I think a lot of projects, I would also say that these DATs, you are touching the very regulated stock markets, and they should be done carefully with all legal considerations in place. What we have seen in the last 2 months is that people try to do it as soon as possible, and some of the people I feel that have done some crazy structurings in those, which might get some people in trouble. And for a responsible project like Polygon, we have been obviously looking into it and structuring and taking our time to have everything properly done, because this DAT phenomena it seems like it's not like like one splash in the pan. It looks like there are fundamentals, especially with the yield bearing coins which are integrated into DeFi and all that, where people can make somewhere between 10 to 15% yearly yields. Then it starts making some real sense, because not only those people are taking exposure on the underlying asset, but they're also taking exposure on extended value added yield on that. Like if, let's say today everybody has access to crypto, so why would you buy let's say a Polygon DAT stock? If you can just buy POL also, right, from the market. But if you buy POL from the market, maximum you can put it on staking and it will give you 3-4% yield. But with the DAT promises, and that's the business model, the DAT promises you that it can give you 15 to 20% yield on top of the underlying asset by doing bunch of activities in the DeFi, providing different kind of activities that are available in the crypto financial structure of the markets. And that is where I think, so that phenomena, I don't think like it's going away early. We want to do it right instead of doing it early. So we are actually actively exploring and doing, but people will get to know when it's finished.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's really interesting. So let's get back to the Polygon itself, because I've obviously looked into Polygon for this interview. Got some of I think the biggest stablecoin volumes in LATAM. I think you mentioned.
When people don't realize that USDC, we are the number one daily active users on USDC, number one, even ahead of Base. We are number 3 daily active users on USDT in terms of the number of users. But now these users, crypto markets look for TVL and TVS and all that. And these are micro transactions, P2P transactions. Yeah. So we are the number one chain on that.
So that's really interesting, because I think you said in a previous interview that you guys have the most transactions, not the most transaction amount, but the most transactions. So obviously with your other hat, which is the Sentient AI project, which is obviously all about AI agents. I mean, given that you guys are a micropayments, chain, surely that makes sense that Polygon could have its focus on AI agents as well.
For sure. Like we are working on, like Coinbase came up with this X402 framework, so that is being implemented on Polygon also. Oh, yeah. The Google's A2A is there, that is also being explored. So we definitely doing a lot of work on that. But although those agentic payments, agentic commerce is like a little bit further out, but the infrastructure is being built. But right now the market will be there. The promise is that market will be there. But as of now, the market is still at a very nascent stage. So we are taking our time to building the required pieces of the puzzle on the chain, and slowly we will unleash. And with Sentient AI, for example, constantly Polygon teams and the product teams are interacting with each other and seeing that how these two projects can work together.
So how do you, Sandeep, split your time between Polygon and Sentient? Is Sentient a distraction for you for Polygon?
See, Sentient, I am very lucky that it has 3 full-time co-founders working on it. I am one of the co-founders, and in Polygon I am the founder, right? Like I am doing everything, and I am basically literally involved in everything related to Polygon, like the grunt work also.
Gotcha.
Sentient is more of for me, it's a very fun project where I get to spend 10 to 20% of my time. Okay. But that time is very high quality because I get to spend on very strategic issues. And it's really like, I think it's positive energy for me. And I'm somebody like who, if you ask my family, I'm somebody who works like anyways 10 to 15 hours a day. I mean, I don't see that, it creates a bottleneck in terms of my bandwidth per se. I actually, like, if you ask people around me, like I could take more stuff, but like, I don't take, because it's just like, you don't want to, you want to have more focus on few things, but bandwidth wise, it doesn't create a lot of issue for me.
I guess the reasons why people might ask you that is obviously the POL price performance this cycle, which we have to talk about. So it's like 6 months ago, I think you hit like an all-time low, which is incredible, because when I look at all of the amazing stuff you've done, it's like, wow, like it's one of the most impressive blockchains out there. And so I did see a couple of days ago, actually, that there was a proposal, I think, from a community member about actually making Polygon deflationary or buybacks. Let's hear it. Like, how are you going to help? Is there any plans in place for you to actually implement these buyback and burns or make it deflationary? Because I think Avalanche, Ethereum, BNB chain, they're all starting to do the same thing.
Yeah, so first of all, the price part, like I think generally, if you see the price of most of the L2s, like layer 2 projects, like we also building like layer 2 on Ethereum and all that, And last 2 years, because Ethereum faced a lot of pressure from Solana as a L1 for some time, and it was, Ethereum went down like 50% from the all-time highs, and all the other layer 2s went like 70-80% down from their stable floors also, and maybe 90-95% from their all-time highs. So this happened across the board, not only for Polygon. You can see this happened for Arbitrum, Optimism, and many others like long tail layer 2 projects also. The price is actually, I think it's a bigger function of this narrative around the lack of narrative, I would say, around L2s, that L2s are doing so well. Like I just keep giving people this statistics that last time when Ethereum was 550 billion, which it is today, all the L2s, they're if you see the Ethereum all-time high and L2 all-time high, with Polygon, Arbitrum, and Optimism and other things, that all-time high would be 60 to 80 billion dollars. Today, all the L2s combined, Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, the leading ones combined, and if you include like a Starkware, all that, they combined are less than 10B or 1011B, right? Can you imagine that? And imagine like today Hedera hash graph, which is an L1, like OG L1 happened before and all that, but there's not much activity as of now there, and that has higher valuation than Polygon, Arbitrum, Optimism combined, which Polygon, we discussed the statistics, like, leader in so many spaces.
Yes.
Arbitrum has $20 billion in DeFi, TVL and all that. Optimism has Base and all these chains running on it. Still, all these three combined are lower valued than Hedera Hashgraph, which is an L1. So this is basically a market's mispricing or pricing around L1s. Market is very heavily priced around L1s. My belief is that the way Ethereum narrative came back, the markets will start, this will start, mean reversion it is called in the markets. The markets will start reversing their pricing of L2s also, which is extremely mispriced right now and lower priced. So that will change the pricing for everyone.
What's your annual revenue for Polygon on the chain?
It used to be 15 to 30 million. Now it's like the gas fees only is 4 to 10 million, 4 to 15 million.
Could you buy back and burn that amount?
Tell me one single project which has lower inflation than us. I think I should put a post also there, like a poll, Twitter poll, that should POL token still be renamed back to, it's an upgraded token, but should the name go back to being MATIC, like at least on exchanges? But I think this lack of attention from the MATIC migrating into POL has actually hurt a lot of volume and sentiment of that. The businesses that are adopting Polygon POS, the businesses that are adopting Ag Layer, I don't see how it will not happen for Polygon also. Secondly, I think one of the reasons that that also has caused MATIC or the Polygon token and distress is we upgraded from MATIC token to POL, because we upgraded from MATIC network to Polygon, right? So we had promised to the community that the token will also migrate from MATIC token to POL. The miscalculation in that is that now that we are realizing that MATIC, because when we live in the crypto echo chamber, right?
Yes.
So okay, here everybody knows MATIC is now POL.
Yeah.
But think about that average trader in Turkey who basically drives a Uber or he runs a bodega somewhere and all that. They are also trading crypto. They have no clue. They just saw that MATIC is no longer there, right? So that created a lot of I think took out a lot of eyeballs also from that. What we could have done is like many times I think I should put a post also there, like a poll, Twitter poll, that should POL token still be renamed back to, it's an upgraded token, new token, which has inflation and all that, and we'll talk about that. But should the name go back to being MATIC, like at least on exchanges? The smart contract will call it Polygon only, but should the name go back to being called MATIC to it? And what kind of distress is created, because the decentralized wallets will simply read the name as POL. So
okay, guys, so if you're watching this video, put a comment below and let us know if you want to see POL not rebranded back to MATIC, but change the token ticker back to MATIC.
Yeah, ticker. Yeah,
let us know.
I should actually put a post also on YouTube for that, because that might be interesting. But let's see what people say. That is actually one of the reasons. So we have to now do the whole journey of the token again, because now those eyeballs need to see that token again somehow, and that too in a positive moving environment. And then the inflation and other part, I think that is very short term.
So 2% annual inflation, right?
Annual inflation, you see Solana, for example, has 7% annual inflation. In fact, people, if you actually go to a lot of token economics consultants and people who devise the strategy, they will tell, and you would see that this is actually the same thing with Plasma, which recently launched. Plasma has 5% inflation. There is another big Tensor, for example, has 7-8% inflation. And why? Because what people are not realizing, that 1% inflation which is given to these stakers, that actually results in around 30% of POL being staked. That is not, that is not in the market supply. Yeah. In fact, one could argue that if this yield was, let's say, 3-4% yearly instead of 1%, we could see probably 60-70% of POL being staked. And that staking will mean, in the short run, because the narrative will be, oh, extra tokens will come in the market. But they will not realize that larger number of people will stake and try to earn the yield on that. That means a large number of MATIC will go out of the supply. So this will, a large number of POL will go out of supply. That is actually one part which, some of the community members might not see. They want to see, like we say, oh, supply is not, the inflation is closed. Then this is a good news. For 2 days, the token goes up 10%. They are out, and then it's all thank you, right? And we cannot, like this is my 8th year in Polygon, and I have to build for next 10 years. Second thing, what community doesn't see is most of our, let's say competitors, it's not a zero-sum game, but still, like there are multiple chains fighting for the same applications, right? And most of these chains, some of the chains you named also, they have 20, 30, 40% of their supply with the foundation who can use that supply to keep growing the protocol. And then only in the long run reach a place, right, where they have like stable usage and all that. Whereas Polygon is like, is a 2019 project, right? So it has spent a lot of its the treasury in inflations and in these, rewards and all that. And how do we be competitive with the existing protocols, right? Like which foundation still has like, let's say,
what's your annual revenue? What's your annual revenue for Polygon on the chain?
Annual revenue, it fluctuates between, I think it used to be 15 to 30 million. Now it's like the gas fees only is 4 to 10 million, 4 to 15 million.
Could you buy back and burn that amount?
That fees doesn't come to us. That's not our revenue. That goes to stakers anyways.
I see.
So that's the part, like, and then we are, like for Polygon Labs, we are doing a lot of revenue making activities, and we do subscribe to the point that we want to, like as Polygon Labs, we would implement the policies which will have that buybacks and burns and all that from the revenue. The existing revenue already goes to the protocols, plus the projects that we are basically like incubating, like Katana and all that. But people are not realizing Katana has like its, I think 10 to 15% of its supply given out to the POL stakers. That is also revenue in a way, right, to POL stakers. And then there are other ag layer breakout program projects coming in. They all are, they give some yield and all that. So our goal from our side, we are trying as best as we can. But I think this lack of attention from the MATIC migrating into POL has actually hurt a lot of volume and sentiment of that.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, it's not a tokenomics problem. It's a narrative problem.
It's a narrative problem. It's tokenomics. Like 2% is like as low as it gets. Like literally every other protocol. You see Arbitrum, Optimism, Solana. Like tell me one single project which has lower inflation than us. And then that is actually,
But actually narrative-wise, you're playing a lot in the RWA space, which is a hot narrative still. Institutional space, obviously, like, is a hot narrative, tokenizing the global bonds that we spoke about. So you do have some narratives that are still hot. So okay. Well, let's see how let's see how things progress. Obviously, like I said, the adoption
they will progress.
You guys are getting is
Don't
impressive.
worry.
They will.
Yeah. They will.
But by when? I'm joking. I'll go to the exchange to buy it.
Yes. I mean, I'm saying that the kind of things we are working on, our team working on, sooner or later, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. The businesses that are adopting Polygon POS, the businesses that are adopting ag layer, I don't see how it will not happen for Polygon also.
So I mean, you mentioned some of the layer 2s. You're just comparing the market caps and things like that. But I mean, do you still see Polygon as a layer 2 competitor these days? Because now you have ag layer, you're more like a finality layer for everybody, as opposed to like a competitor to these guys, right?
Yeah. I mean, that way. So that's why, but then Ethereum community always is very, because I have been always a very big believer in Ethereum, that Ethereum is the settlement layer, and we believe in there is no layer 1, layer 2s for me. There's execution layers and there is settlement layers, right? Okay. Execution layers are like Solana, Polygon, Arbitrum, all the layer 2s, they are all trying to be execution layers. Settlement layer is Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't see any other project building as a sturdy settlement layer. Like Zcash might be settlement layer, but and Solana, like Anatoly, for example, openly says that they want to be just as good as they can be on the execution side, as big as on the execution side. And we are competing ideally for the same narrative. But then market just treats them as like, oh, this is L1, so they are competing with Ethereum, and then L2s means only Ethereum ecosystem has L2s. Otherwise, if you see by rational, kind of basically or analytically, Polygon, Solana, Arbitrum, they are fighting for the same mind share, app share, user share, and Ethereum and Bitcoin are in a different category. Even like Binance, BNB, Binance is also for the same category.
Yeah. So like we just touched upon, the Polygon let's say vision has obviously changed over the last 8 years in such a rapid environment. That makes total sense. Looking ahead, how would you say the Polygon vision has changed over the last 2 years or so?
The main focus area is like, on the payments and fintech, being a fintech environment, and that's the main like business focus area. Application or the tech wise, I think mostly things are the same.
All right, Sandeep, it's been a real pleasure chatting to you today. So thanks for all of the insights. My final question is, what would your message be to all the Polygon holders and community members?
Yeah, so my message would be that, first of all, like Polygon is moving in this direction, which is neobanks, stablecoin payments, right? And I think from the community, I know that a lot of token holders are not very happy because of the price, not being great and all that. But all I want to say and all I can say is that, give us more chance. They've given enough chance to Polygon Labs, but give us more chance. Give me more chance, because now the crypto is moving into this utility phase where there is actual usage, use cases. And I believe that we have bigger strength. I have bigger strength in actually doing utility work, and we have proven that in the past from, in 2021, 2022 times where all the big enterprises were building with us. And even now you see every day, big announcements coming from us or big, fintechs on being onboarded on Polygon PS. So this is now finally we are in a place where this is our strength. Previously, we have not been great in the last 2 years when these speculative things were happening, meme coins and all that. We couldn't incubate or get meme coins on Polygon. But this is a place where we have some strengths and we believe that we can do better on this. So my request is that Polygon community, keep your belief in Polygon, and probably we will deliver this.
Awesome. Well, look, guys, you heard it from the man himself, Sandeep from Polygon. Look, guys, if you enjoyed the content, do put a comment below. Let us know what you're thinking on this interview. Now, Sandeep, I'll see you in Istanbul, hopefully in June. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time.